Hi friends, it's Meridy with NJFB Page Kit, and today I'm here with instructions on putting together the What a Man page kit. And first I'm going to show you what you're going to get in your kit. So the first thing you're going to get is a 12 by 12 sticker sheet from Photoplay of You're the Man stickers from the You're the Man line. These are awesome. There's even some alphabets and lots of different directions you could take this kit by all the different icons on here. And then you're going to get a Creamies Shimmers Paint Creamies Boogie Boarding Blue, which is dry. You activate these by adding a little bit of water to them, so I'll show you how to do that in the video. And you're going to get a What a Man sequin, Not Just for Boys sequins mix. I really love this sequins mix. You can see it has the little like checkerboard pattern pieces in there. It's super cute. And I'm making a mess, so I will just set this off to the side. Then you're gonna get a Spellbinders stencil. It's a 6x6 stencil, and it's called Picnic Checkerboard. But again, it's that black and white, well, you see it in black and white in a lot of shoes, the black and white checkerboard pattern, but obviously you could make this any color ink or any color mixed media that you have. So those are the embellishments that are going to come with your kit. I'm going to scoot these off to the side so I can show you the papers. The first paper you're going to get is from Photoplay's Man Cave. It's called Man Cave from the You're the Man line. And it's got this great alphabet on one side and teal on the other. And then you're going to get another sheet from Photoplay's You're the Man. And this one's called Brilliant with the light bulbs on one side. And this great pattern that incorporates all the colors on the B side. I love that one. And then you're going to get a sheet of Echo Park's Dots and Stripes in mint. And it's mint with white dots on one side and tone on tone mint dots on the other side. You're gonna get one sheet of red American Crafts textured cardstock. One sheet of Farmhouse Summer Cardabella textured designer solids cardstock, and it's light green on one side and this reddish color on the other. And these two reds, this is slightly an oranger red and a more vibrant red, but either one will match the backgrounds, so you can use the red that looks better with your pictures if you choose to use this side. Then you're going to have one sheet of smooth black cardstock and 2 sheets of smooth white cardstock. So that's what's going to come in your kit. You're also going to see a double-sided sheet of instructions. Those instructions are full color, and on the back of those instructions, you're going to see cutting guides that demonstrate how you're going to cut all of these papers. So that's the first thing that you're going to want to do, is refer to those cutting guides on the back of your instruction sheet and cut apart your papers. And I'm going to go do that off camera, and I will be right back. Okay guys, so I have got all my papers cut, and the first thing that we're going to do is work on a little bit of this mixed media background for this layout. So I know that we got this Creamies Boogie Boarding Blue in our kit, and I added a little water to mine, so it's already colored in there and liquid. It's not a hard pigment anymore. So let me get this. What I'm going to do is just kind of really mix this up well so that the pigment gets into the water well. And then I know that I want a mixed media background on my layout in this area right here and a little bit in this corner right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just messily, is that a word? Messy paint some little areas here. And I don't want to go over and over and over too much with too much water or too many brush strokes. So I'm trying to keep this pretty quick. I like the little messy ends with my dry part of my brush sticking out here. And then a little bit over here. I don't want it to go quite to the edge of the paper, but maybe just like that. Okay, so that is for the left-hand side of the layout. And then we're going to use the other sheet of white cardstock that you have for the right hand side of the layout. And we're going to do the same thing this time. I want my paint to be in this area right here, kind of like this whole quadrant up here, and then just a little bit down here. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing. And I like those little messy brush edges. If you like to paint with a different technique, or not using a brush, maybe using packaging, kind of like how you can use that with mists and inks, then by all means do the technique that you like to do. Trying to get a little variety of color in here. And then a little bit down here. And a little bit down here. Okay. A little more messy brushes up there. All right, and then I'm going to set this off to the side. We are still going to use this to do some splatters, but we don't want to do the splatters until this ink is dry. So I'm going to come back to this. Okay, so now we've got the right hand side, the left hand side. I'm going to come back to the left hand side of this and our stencil, and I'm going to do a little stencil work. I am just using black ink from Close to My Heart, just dye-based ink, and the little blending tool. You want to make sure this is pretty dry before you go in and ink on top of it. I'm going to do this upper portion first. And I am just going to do a little bit of this checker pattern. I like the black and white checkered pattern, but you could use another color besides black. You could use like a teal ink or a yellow ink or a red ink, because there's all kinds, any color that's in your layout you could pretty much use the ink for. Okay, and then I'm gonna move it, but I'm still gonna line up the pattern so it looks like it's one continuous pattern. And I'm just gonna do a little right here. And again, I'm going to line up this pattern with a little bit of this stenciled area and do a little bit more down here. Oh, I'm going to scooch this over so I can get off the edge. And you can make some of this darker, some of it lighter. Like you can see I have some darker black there and the lighter gray on the edges. However you would like this to go. I'm gonna move one more time so I can get a little bit down here. And a little tiny bit, let's see, I want to line this up just in case for some reason it needs to be lined up, the pattern. So just do a little, this is almost all going to be covered right here. So I'm just doing a tiny little bit. Okay, so that's the left-hand side of the page. And then we're gonna come in and do the same thing to the right-hand side of the page. This is what we just painted. I'm gonna start down here in the corner. And just, I'm not doing the whole entire area, just little bits and pieces, so it kind of looks like grungy. Just a little, not over the whole area that I painted. I'm just doing that because I'm lining up the stencil there, making a little line there so I can then line up the stencil up here. so the pattern makes sense in case you lay out your pictures a different way, or you want your mixed media in a different way. At least the pattern will all be coherent and cohesive. So that's about all of this for now. I might come back in, you know what, I'm gonna come in down here just a little and add a tiny little bit down here of just a little gray that's left on my thing. Okay, now we can start working on the layout. The next thing that we're going to do is we're gonna go ahead and add a border around this layout. And the border is gonna be with these 4 little strips of the alphabet paper that you cut. And I'm just putting 2 little bits of adhesive, not all the way to the ends, because we're gonna miter this border after we get these all adhered down. And then we can add a little bit more adhesive at the end to make the very ends tack down where the miter happens. I'll show you what I mean. So these just run all the way up to the edge. This is a really easy way to make a border on a layout if you don't have a whole other sheet of paper to cut for the background. Like to make a whole, like if you don't want to waste a whole piece of paper to mat a layout on, you can do this. And then I'll show you what I mean by mitering the edges. It just looks really clean and nice. When you get all 4 things taped down, you just take your scissors and you start at the corner, and with both of these pieces are in here, both of these little border strips, and you cut like that, and the edge is perfectly mitered. The angles are the exact same because you cut them together. And then you can adhere this little end thing down just like that. So that's how you do that with the 4 mitered corners. Alrighty, so the next thing that we're gonna do, I'm gonna move this off to the side, and I'm going to grab my red sheet of cardstock, but you also have this sheet of cardstock that's green on one side and a reddish orange on the other. You could use either of these sides for this part that I'm gonna show you as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mat all my photos. So I have 1 4x6 photo, 2 4x4 photos, and 2 3x4 photos. And actually, these photos started out, these are not obviously photos. I use these in place of photos on my videos. It's just easier and a little bit cleaner looking. So I trimmed all of these photos down 1/4 inch off of 2 sides. So really this 3x4 photo is really 2 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. I just trimmed a little off of 2 sides. Same with this 4x6, I trimmed 1/4 inch off 2 sides, and these 4x4s, I trimmed 1/4 inch off 2 sides. And the reason I do that is because it makes it so much easier to mat these photos. I can just cut a 4 inch by 6 inch photo mat for the larger photo. I can cut, what am I doing here? I can cut 2 4x4 inch mats for my 4x4 photo, and then I can cut 2 3x4 inch mats for my smaller photos. And it just makes it a lot easier cutting mats off of 1 sheet of cardstock when the mats are even whole numbers, like 4 inches by 6 inches. And I'll show you what I mean. See, since my photo was a little smaller than 4x6, it fits nicely on the mat. So I'm going to go ahead and mat all of these photos. And the 2 3 inch by 4 inch photos are what we're going to use on the left-hand side of this layout. And the other 3 photos are for the right-hand side of this layout. So I'm gonna lay those off to the side right now, because we're just working with the left-hand side of this layout right now. And I've got my base that I made, my 2 photos, and then I'm going to pull some of these papers that we're using here. So I've got this black. These are both the same size, and I'm just going to adhere them a little bit offset like that. So I can go ahead and do that. If you wanted to save paper, you could trim this black out so you're only just using a little of it if you wanted. So that's going to go there. And then this goes right about there. This one, let me scooch this over a bit. All right, so I've got everything kind of laid out the way I like it, and I can go ahead and start adhering. And I'm going to start with this back layer, and I'm going to adhere that to the page. Right about there. And then I'm gonna adhere this polka dot strip. Right about there. And then this piece. Right about there. And this right here. And then I'm gonna get my 2 photos on there. Just like this. Ever so slightly overlapped. And next I'm going to pull out this sticker sheet because we're going to start adhering some of these stickers down. And the first sticker we're going to adhere down, we have this little scrap of the blue polka dot paper, and we have this little frame, and we're just going to adhere that right on there, and we can cut the excess off. And I am not going to use this whole frame on this side. I'm going to cut about 1/3 of it off. And I'm going to use this on the next page. So I'm just going to set it off to the side. And this side, I'm going to adhere right there. And I can go ahead and adhere that down. Right in there. So it's just coming out of the side. And I really loved these light bulbs. And if you would like, you could pop these up on dimensional adhesive, or you can just adhere them, you know, right here, whichever you'd like. I'm just gonna go ahead and adhere them down. And then I took this You Rock label, put it in there. And then You Are So Amazing, and I do not like speech bubble stickers. You may or may not know that. So I just cut the little speech bubble part off. But if you like speech bubble stickers, by all means, leave the speech bubble on. I'm gonna set that to the side for just a second because I forgot that I wanna put this down first. That says number 1, and then I'm gonna put this speech bubble that says You Are So Amazing, that I cut off the little part. I'm gonna put it right over the top. Just like that. Then I'm going to grab this star, and I'm also going to put dimensional adhesive on the back of this. And I'm going to overlap this star right there. And then my photos were of my husband at work. So I'm going to put the word hardworking right here, but you have so many choices of things that you can use there. I'm going to put I'm going to put love just because I'm not creative right now to think of another little subtitle down here at the bottom. So I'll just put love. Okay, and then I think the only thing left on this layout right now is going to be some splatters. So I'm going to do that first. And to do splatters, you just dip back in this paint again, get something to tap, you gotta get a little on the brush, something to tap your brush off with. And then I'm gonna add some down here so it kind of looks like my splatters are going up across my layout. Okay, once these splatters dry, I'm gonna sprinkle sequins. I'm gonna put some right here, some in this, a little bit down here, and a little bit right there. But I have to wait for these to dry first, so I'm gonna move this off to the side, and I will sprinkle the sequins on and adhere it down before I take my final pictures of this layout. Next item of business will be working on the right-hand side of this layout. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is, again, adhere these little borders, little strips of paper. Oh, I forgot to mention in the last, when I was doing this on the last page, if you want your two layouts to lay right next to each other in an album and not have a border in the middle where they meet, you might want to just adhere these down on 3 sides. I'll show you what I mean. And leave this without this, so that way it looks like one big giant rectangle instead of a line right down the middle of your layout where it meets at the seam of the page. So again, I'm going to cut these mitered corners, and I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera. So I've got all of the corners mitered and this put down, and we're going to start by putting the rest of these papers down. So this alphabet paper is going to offset on this black piece of paper, so it just sticks out of the bottom corner almost like a shadow. It just helped this alphabet paper pop off the page a little because it's very pattern-y, and a lot of this layout has a lot of patterns. And then I'm just going to start placing these other layers where they go. Let's see, this one goes underneath here. Okay, and then we've got a couple of pictures. All right, so that's about how this layout is going to go down. And we can start adhering all of the layers. And we're going to start in the back and then gradually move to the layers that are on top. I just loved this line from Photoplay, this You're the Man line. I liked the colors, I liked the icons, I really like this pattern of paper right here. It's so versatile, and just, I like the, what is it, the graphic look of it. Uh-oh, before I tape that one down, we're gonna wanna put this alphabet one down. No, actually, I lie. This one does go down first. Move all of these pieces off the top. Yeah, I just really loved this line and the colors and the patterns, and even the stickers. The sticker sheet was so cool for this one. I really liked it. Okay, and then we can adhere these 2 4x6 photos. You're gonna go about like this. And then, or I mean 4x4 photos. Those were the 4x4 photos. This is the 4x6 photo. All right, and then we've still got this little piece that we trimmed off of the other side of that sticker that we backed. And that can go right in here. And then we're gonna pull out our sticker sheet. And there are so many good stickers on here. Some of them might not fit with the theme of your layout. Like this is like a poker gambling piece, but I didn't want the, what is that called? The club sign in there. So I covered it up with this arrow sticker, and I was able to stick that down just like that. And then I took this star and I popped it up on foam tape just to give it a little bit of height and dimension. And that one just goes right in there. Okay, another layering sticker bit that I did, this your man, or my man, I'm sorry, it says my man, you're the man, and you know I don't like the little speech bubbles, so I cut that off. And I covered up this my man with you're the man because I still wanted some blue in the sticker. You know what? Let me tear this off. I did it a little funky. Okay, I covered that up. It's not covering up straight for me. What is happening here? All right, so I did this, and then I took this little roulette wheel and made it pop out of the bottom. And then I took this checkered star and made it pop out of the top. And I wanted this to say, you're my hero, instead of you're the man, or you could say you're one of a kind, you're handsome. And so I had to cut down this my hero sticker a little. And I'm just putting the words my hero right over the man. So now I made like my own little sticker bundle, and I'm popping the whole entire thing on foam tape. If you wanted to play around and mess around, you could put this on maybe wax paper while you're trying to make it and figure it out. And that one's gonna go right there. And let's see, down at the bottom here, I put another star popped up on foam tape. And I'll pop that right here. And then you can use the alphabet stickers to spell anything you want right here. I'm gonna spell hero. But you could spell cool, or dad, or grandpa, or I can't spell there. Okay, I was thinking dad and I grabbed the D. You can make any word. You can write someone's name, you know, anything that you want right there. And then finally, we're back to this ink splattering portion. And you might want to cover up your photos. I'm just going to use the stencil packaging. Cover up my photos and splatter some ink here. And I'm going to splatter some more down here. So it kind of looks like my ink goes across my page, like underneath my photos. That's why you should cover up the photo right there, which I did not do. But I've got my little ink splatters going in diagonal across my page. Okay, the last thing that I need to do on this layout is, after my ink splatters are dry, I am going to come in with my sequin mix here. I'm gonna put a black star down here, a black star up there, and I'm just gonna sprinkle sequins in both of these places. Wherever it lands, that's where I like it, and then I'm going to adhere it down. So I will do that off camera because, again, like I said, I have to wait for all these splatters to dry before I can do this, because otherwise I will smear all of my splatters. So those will show up in the final pictures of this layout at the end of the video. So here is what both sides of the layout look like when they're completed, minus the sequins that I'm going to sprinkle this direction and a little down here, and then this direction on this side. And I will put still pictures of this layout with the sequins on it at the end of this video. There's also a picture of this layout on the bottom of your instruction sheet. There are pictures of this layout in the link of the video on YouTube here, which links back to our website underneath the product. The description of this kit, there are pictures of close-up pictures of these layouts as well. So if you are a member of our Not Just for Boys Kit Club community group on Facebook, or if you're on Instagram, you can see all the different ways our design team used this kit to make their own unique layouts, not doing what I did here, but making their own, doing their own special take on them. And we would love to see what you make with this kit on our community page, our community Facebook page. So if you're not a part of that, you might want to join. It's Not Just for Boys Kit Club community group on Facebook. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. See you soon.